right now? Am I like white?
You're fine. Hey guys, thank you for coming visit. Oh, that's right. You are our 60th author that has come on the show. You're a repeat author, but we'll keep counting you anyway. This is almost we've almost been on here for a year too, so awesome. So everybody, today we have a read-on special with Krystal Wade, author of the upcoming Charming. She's also the author of some other books that I didn't grab, of the Darkness Falls series, as well as Shattered Secrets, which book 2, should we be seeing book 2 sometime next year, hopefully?
Oh, sorry. I was not paying attention. Yeah, you should see book 2 next year.
Yay!
Yay! I know, I just have to write it.
Okay. Well, that always tends to help. Well, today you can actually, for giveaways, you can actually win this signed ARC. Don't let the barcode fool you. As well as somebody will be able to also grab a keychain. You said you were going to do 2 of them. Do you have them with you?
I can. If you give me a minute, I'll jump up and grab one.
Okay, awesome. We will wait for you to come back.
All right, don't leave me.
As well as 2 keychains that will be up for grabs. So we will have 2 winners. And we will sit here and wait. Just a short note that I have both little extras running today, both the Q&A as well as the showcase links. So if you go to the top of your screen over here, if you're watching this via Google Plus, you can actually click the little 9-block symbol that's up there and switch between the 2 for questions and the showcase. The showcase is just strictly for links. If you have questions, I'm actually going to find my thing over here somewhere. I've been trying to do review posts today.
Okay.
You can ask questions on the event page from Google+, or you can ask them via the YouTube page. Okay, so there's that one.
See it?
And, oh, let me turn over here. I want one of those. You need
they're cool. They have a knife on them and a little book charm. I don't know if you can see them. And then, of course, a Shattered Secrets cover and a Charming cover. They're really cute. So I have 2 of those.
Woohoo! Okay, so there will be 3 winners. Of course, this is open internationally, so anybody can win. Okay, so what would you like to start with? Would you like to start out, you can introduce yourself, anything else that you want to say about you?
Well, I don't know. I think most of your watchers know me. But I'm Krystal Wade. I'm very unprepared today as I have been working in the yard all day. And I had to shower before I did this because I was covered in mulch from head to toe. So, that's it. That's all you need to know about me.
Interesting to see you come on covered in the mulch. That would have been weird, but...
It would have been kind of cute, maybe. I mean, speckled black mulch all over my face.
Okay. So you've got some positive feedback for your keychains. People think they're cute.
Awesome. Where do you see that at?
It's on the event page.
Oh, I see. I don't actually, but
People are commenting. Can toss it into the chat in here.
see, I see questions. I don't see chat. Oh, there's one new chat message.
Yeah, it's like you should get a little pop-up for it now.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me open up all my lovely little windows over here.
Okay.
Okay, so what would you like to do first? Would you like to do some reading, or would you like to answer some questions?
Well, people are watching. What do the people want? Do they want me to read first or ask questions first?
We could alternate, do like 2 questions and then read, and then 2 questions and
Okay.
read.
Let's do that. That'll be fun.
Okay, so the first question is, tell us your latest news.
My latest news is that it's kind of a secret, a little secret, but Charming is being considered by a film agent.
Oh, yay!
Yay! So it's super exciting, and of course, the more people who buy it, the easier it will be to have a film made out of it. So buy the book. But you can also pre-order it right now on Amazon and Barnes& and Noble.
Oh, so I can finish my post. Yay.
Yeah, throw those links in there for people so they can pre-order them.
Yes, yes. There is the link that if I can find my website somewhere in this mass of tabs. Here's this. And I will actually go edit this while I ask you the next question so I can go add that buy link into there. Okay, so the next question is, since you said the thing about the movie, I'm just going to do this. So if it does get picked up for a movie, who would you pick for your 2 main characters in Charming?
Oh my gosh. Well, it's funny because she's kind of the it girl in Hollywood right now. She's playing in If I Stay. She was in Carrie. Her name is Chloe Moretz, and everybody knows her. Like I said, she's the it girl. But I would really love her to play Haley because I actually built Haley off of some pictures that she had done in Teen Vogue. Chloe Moretz. I built Haley from how I perceived Chloe from those pictures. So I would love for her to play. And then for Chris Charming, that's really tough because I built him off of, oh God, what is his name? Totally drawing a blank. The guy who played in the CW Alien show. What's his name? Are you gonna look it up for me?
The blah blah Starcross or
Matt Lanter. I got it.
I'm like, which alien show from CW?
I know the CW has so many, but no, it was Matt Lanter. I built Chris Charming off of Matt Lanter, and so I would love to see him play Chris, if possible. I would just love to see a movie because that would be really cool.
Okay. I have pre-ordered the book, by the way.
Yay!
Just so you know.
Me too. I did. I pre-ordered the book.
Do authors do that often? Do they really go and pre-order their book?
I don't know, but I do because it just, I don't know, I'm buying my own book. It's kind of cool. Like, I mean, if I saw my book in a bookstore, I might buy a copy. Yeah, why not? I think it just makes it more real for us.
I'm actually going to add a thing to the Rafflecopter for those who want to pre-order the book. If you pre-order the book, you get extra entries.
Awesome. Pre-order. You know you want it.
You're like the 5th one down. If you look up Charming, you're the 5th one down on the list.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh. I have to get it to the top somehow.
That's good. Okay, so the next question is, do you have any favorite authors or favorite books?
I do have a favorite author. Her name is Maggie Stiefvater. I think everybody knows her stuff, but I love reading her books because I feel like her imagination is on every single page. Like her words are magical, and when I read them, I get inspired. And it's funny because I don't always like her books themselves, but I love reading the way she writes her stories because it's just, to me, I connect with her writing in a very deep way for whatever reason. So I love Maggie. If I'm down and feeling kind of cruddy about my own writing, I'll go pull one of her books out and just start reading it, and I get very excited. Favorite books of mine, my favorite book of all time is The Hobbit. I've read it several times. I have multiple copies of the book. I have leather-bound editions and paperbacks, and they've all been read. Um, and then my other favorite, like more modern book is Alice in Zombieland. I loved that book. Did you read it, Jessica?
I have book 1, 2, and 3. And I have book 1 for free. It's for free right now on iBooks, but I haven't finished book 1.
Uh-huh. You have so many books.
But I have it in multiple formats.
Well, it is a great book. I really liked it because it was just such a creative spin on, Alice in Wonderland, and I mean, even though it was not like a close retelling of Alice in Wonderland by any means, but it was very creative. It was a creative take on zombies. I'm not a big fan of zombie books, just because most of them are, what? Most of them are so like, it's the end of the world and everything sucks. And I just can't stand reading that. Like, I need something with a little bit of beauty in it. I mean, zombie books are all like apocalyptic. And that's the thing I like about her book is it's a zombie book, but it's not an apocalypse book. But I did like Foreign Bodies.
You should try Eat Brains Love and Undead with Benefits from Jeff Hart, because those are not apocalyptic either.
Oh, good. See, it's that whole, like, it's the end of the world and blah, blah, blah. I can't stand it. But I did love Warm Bodies because it was cute. It was really cute.
Okay, this question is from Lauren Johnson, and it says, how was the change from writing urban fantasy to a fairy tale mashup with a serial killer?
How was the change? It was fun. I think when I wrote Charming, I found my calling. I just need to write about serial killers because I loved every bit of it. When you write a fantasy, you kind of have to make up a world. You have to make up creatures, and there's so much world building. Every book needs world building, but it's a deeper part of your imagination. And when I got into Charming, I could still be creepy, and I could still do my world building, but it's with places that really exist. So I don't have to spend time talking about religion or, a hierarchy of gods or anything like that. I enjoyed the switch because it was an easier write for me, but I got deeper with the characters because of that as well. So I loved it, and I'm actually writing another thriller right now. So I think that's kind of my calling for right now is thrillers.
All right, so why don't we go into doing one passage?
Okay.
And back to some more questions.
Oh, right. So Jessica and I decided, we kind of talked before we started this on reading small passages to introduce you guys to certain characters. One of my favorite interactions with Chris and Haley is when you first meet him in the story. And so I'm going to start reading from there, and it's on page 20, so if you do get your book, you'll know where this is at. A faded red car pulled up next to her, and the driver laid on the horn. Haley kept walking. This interaction wouldn't end well. Hey, Haley. Chris, freaking charming in his fancy-dancy classic Porsche 911, his lapdog, Richard Harvey, two guys from different worlds. Word had it their fathers were great friends growing up, and these two were just repeating the pattern, hanging out the window, hooting her name to the tune of Simon and Garfunkel's Cecilia. Niles a song for her when she'd left him. Doubt he realized what the words implied. Haley'd moved schools, not towns, and sometimes her old life tried catching up. The people would have gladly given up the world for popping up. The people she would have gladly given up the world for popping up. I'm sorry. I can't read, apparently. I can't even read my own book. The people she would have gladly given up the world for, popping up where she worked, where she shopped. But Chris was never part of that life, not the way Niles and Josh and Anna had been. Chris suffered the intolerable issue of missing reality altogether, and Haley did her best to avoid contact. He hung out with street racers, partied all night, every night. Broke most of Deerfield Academy's rules from the moment he stepped foot onto the well-manicured lawns. Sure, he aced every test he took, never got in a lick of trouble, but Haley heard every story, never heard him deny them. Chris stopped his car, yanking hard on the parking brake, then threw open the door and trotted to where she stood, not looking at them, on the half-assed sidewalk. Total D.A. Black slacks, white button-down shirt, silver tie with red horizontal stripes hidden beneath the gray vest, cuffs rolled up to expose his muscular forearms. But she hadn't noticed. Nope, not going to look. And she certainly didn't look at his slightly messy brown hair swept to the side or his big blue eyes. His gaze roamed over her, though, a smile carving up one side of his face, more like a smirk. Yeah, that's it. As he took in the full effect of her outfit. You're looking good, Haley. Haley walked away. Oh, come on! Chris caught up and clasped his hands behind his back, that stupid smile still on his face. You do. Look great, that is. I like this flashy attire. She stopped, anger warring with her desire to accept his compliment. Chris had everything she'd ever wanted. The perfect family, the beautiful house, the great school, friends, and he took it all for granted. Hell, he even had Berkshires. Mr. Charming took over as CEO after Mom passed. Hate flooded Haley, blinded her, surged through her words. What do you want, Chris? To tease, to gloat, to talk? I have to go to work. He knew this. Chris made weekly stops at the store, keeping up a presence in a place he'd probably end up operating one day, a future Haley had once envisioned as hers. But Haley's future died with Mom in that car. You shouldn't be out here alone. Chris swept his hair from his eyes. Not until they catch that murderer. Let me drive you. Let me drive you, Richard sang in a high-pitched voice from the car. Haley wanted nothing to do with Chris or his strange offer. Nothing. Not her life anymore. He was just a jerk and probably wanted to make a joke out of the now powerless Tremaine family, in front of Richard, who would no doubt feel compelled to share with the whole school. Let Chris rule the kingdom. Not today. She swallowed her pride and ran away. So that was the first segment, and sorry for stumbling over passages. I swear I know how to read. And that's when you first meet Chris in the story.
Okay, the next question was emailed, and what did I do with it? It is, you've talked a bit about another series that you are working, and you still have the Book of Red series as well as standalones like Charming. How do you balance so many projects at the same time, and do you play favorites?
That was a very long question, so I'm going to try to answer it. I am insane, possibly, trying to balance all of these projects at the same time, but part of me enjoys kind of staggering. I have the series going on, but then I can write a one-off in between. And by doing that, I give myself the ability to put out 2 books a year that aren't in the same series. So it gives me more flexibility to kind of do something different and more fun. What was the rest of the question? Uh-oh, I can't hear you. Oh, no.
It's me.
Okay.
I have it muted because they're bringing the dogs in and out, so I don't think anybody wants to hear that. It said you've talked a bit about another series that you were working on, and you still have the Book of Red series as well as standalones like Charming. How do you balance so many projects at the same time, and do you play favorites? Oh my goodness.
I am kind of playing favorites right now, as much as I love Abby and Derek. I'm really loving Cora and Sam in this new book that I'm writing. So I'm going to go back to Abby and Derek as soon as I finish the first draft of The Unraveling of Willard Hill. So yeah, I guess I do kind of play favorites a little bit. But, and balancing is just whatever. I write what I feel in the moment, and then, like I said, I'm partially insane trying to do all these different projects at the same time. So I just do what I can.
We love you anyway.
Thank you. I swear I won't kill you. I'm not that kind of insane.
Okay, how did you get interested in writing YA?
Because I read it, I think I like to read YA because it has a lot of hope in it. Even when the world is grim and dark and creepy, or there's really terrible things going on, the characters are young, and so you know that if they go through these things young, there's hope that they can overcome them. And that's what I like about reading YA, so that's what I like about writing it as well. And it's just one of those, write what you know, and that's what I do.
Okay. What kind of research do you have to do for your books?
What kind of research? Every book is a little bit different. For Charming, I probably did more research than I've done on several other books because it is set in the real world and there's no fantasy element to it. I did a lot of Google stalking of the South Deerfield, Massachusetts. I actually used the Google Earth or Google Maps, and then I actually did the street view, and I looked up houses for sale, and I looked inside of them. I did virtual tours, and that's how I built Haley's house. I had to do a lot of research on serial killers, which was very creepy, and I hope that next time I do it, I'm going to go in prepared to find out what these serial killers do. That's very difficult to read about. And then I had to do a lot of research on drugs because there's drug use and things of that nature in this book as well. So I had to research what they do to your body and how they make you react. For my fantasies, though, it's a lot different. I use most of them. I've created my own religion or my own gods, and so I've built them upon religions and gods that already exist. I just make them my own and use my own hierarchy, but I have to kind of look at how other religions exist in order to make sure I make something that's believable. So every book has research. It's just a little bit different for each one.
Okay, the next question is over here somewhere on one of these tons of tabs. Okay, Rachel Rivera wants to know, what do you like about your book cover?
About Charming's book cover? I love it because it's creepy. So I think one of the things I like most about books, or writing books even, is just the creepy element. I love reading creepy books. I love writing creepy books. And yeah, exactly. I'll show you this pretty cover. So when I talked to Michelle Johnson, she's my cover designer, they had asked, my publisher had asked me to draw something for her and give it to her. And I can't draw. So I drew the stick figure of a girl lying on a table, and she had like bubble letters coming out of her mouth saying, "Help me!" And I scribbled in black ink all around the page what I wanted. I just wanted a dark cover, and so she did that. It's dark. There's a girl who's alone. She's not on a table or saying "help me," but there's only so much a cover editor or a cover designer can do. But I like it that she's alone, and I love the little details in the cover. You might not be able to see if we put it up to the screen, but Charming is written on the walls of the house that she's in, and it just says like stalker, and I think that's awesome. Can you see it?
Yeah, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, I think the online, like the web version, is a little bit easier to see that detail in, but yeah, Charming is written on the walls because, I can't tell you why, but it's very, very cool. It just has all these hidden elements, and I love how she wrote my name on the floor in blood. So I think I just absolutely adore the entire cover.
Yeah, in this copy that I have, you can't even see the C at all. It's herring.
Yeah, it is kind of missing on this cover. I think it's written on the wall multiple times too, and you can see it more in the digital version, but it's hard to see on the print version. Maybe on the actual, since these are ARCs, maybe on the actual cover it'll be better quality.
Lighten it or something so they can see
maybe.
better. Okay, the next question is, what are some of your favorite genre mashups?
Favorite genre mashups? I don't know.
What is a genre
Yeah,
mashup?
what's a genre mashup? Can someone clarify?
Okay. We'll skip that one for right now because I was like, genre mashup, okay. What kind of research did you do on serial killers? Did you follow people around pretending to kill them?
That would have been fun, but I don't recommend following people around. You probably are going to get arrested.
Not unless you're related to them, then it doesn't matter.
So I really just Googled notorious serial killers, and then I started doing research into them. And the serial killer that I have, I based him on this guy who I'm trying to think. I'm trying to like word it so I don't accidentally give anything away. So I based the serial killer on this guy who had something really terrible happen in his life and reacted in a completely random way. Um, but reading his history, reading this man's history, and the notes that he wrote, and just finding out why he thought that he was right was really creepy. And then I took another kid. He was a schizophrenic, and I did a lot of research on schizophrenia, which is another creepy disorder. And I just kind of went through this kid and like all these horrible things that he did, and I used them to make a creepy character. But yeah, I mean, if you Google serial killers, notorious serial killers at that, you'll find some really disturbing information.
The next question is, did you ever have a stalker?
Well, if he was a good stalker, I wouldn't have known. Just kidding. Yes, actually. Really scary thing happened to me. I don't know if he was a stalker per se, but I was shopping for my nephews here in Fredericksburg, Virginia. I was 16. No, I was 17. I was 17. I was shopping for Christmas for my nephews. And I was over at the mall. And I went into a toy store and couldn't find what I needed to find, so I was going to go over to Toys R Us. As I was walking through the parking lot, there was this man walking on the opposite row of cars than I was, and he kept staring at me. And it was really, really creepy. And I'm like, is he watching me? Is he following me? And I started walking a little faster, and he started walking a little faster, and I'm like, okay, time to get in the car. So by this time, I'm so freaked out. I'm like, okay, well, maybe he's not really following me. Maybe it's a coincidence that he's parked directly across from me. Maybe it's just a coincidence. So I go over to Toys R Us, which is right across the street. And he followed me over there. And once inside the store, he went immediately where I had been shopping when I was in the mall. He went over to the beanbag section because I was looking for beanbags for my nephews. And so I got the creeps and ran right out of the store. And I went to Target and thinking, okay, he's not going to follow me again. He knows I see him. There's no way he's going to follow me again. So I went to Target. And he followed me again. So when I went to Target, they used to have security centers right in the front of Target. So I went up to this security guy and I told him what was going on, and I told him what section the guy was following me to, and they pulled him up on the cameras, and once again he had gone right up to where they sold bean bags. And so I stayed there while they called my brother-in-law to come get me, and then they couldn't really call the police because he hadn't done anything to me except, creepy stalk me around parking lots and in stores. But they held me until my brother-in-law got there, and then my brother-in-law escorted me to my car, and then he followed me home. But and then they detained that guy so he couldn't also follow us home. And I don't know if you remember the Lisk sisters, which were they were two little girls here in Virginia who were abducted, and I'm not sure if they ever found them or not. This was like shortly after all of that happened, and it was super creepy. But they put a note in at school. They had the guy's car make, model, and his license plate number, so that everybody at school was on the lookout for that. So that is my creepy stalker story. I know. I'm alive though.
That's creepy. But you haven't had like an author stalker yet, though. Well, except for like, us.
Well, you guys are the best kind of stalkers. Keep stalking. No, I haven't had like anybody stalk me as an author. I had this one guy who always sent me tweets saying he wished he lived closer to me and stuff like that, and I don't really know who he was. But he eventually dropped off after I never responded to any of his tweets. but no, nothing crazy. Just awesome, supportive readers and bloggers like you.
Yay!
Yay!
Lauren Johnson says you should check out the upcoming novel Dead New World. It's a fantastic zombie novel. The next question is, what is your favorite part of the writing process?
Your favorite parts. Okay, so right after I finish the first draft, that's my favorite part. Because I can say, yay, I have a book. And then I go right into editing. And it's usually, I go in and edit fast and furiously. But I really do love finishing the first draft. It's like, it's such a relief. And then to be able to say, I did it again. I wrote a book again. It's a great feeling.
Why don't we do another little snippet of a read?
Okay, a little snippet of a read. This is shortly after the segment that we just, almost lost my place, that we just read. And then I'll try not to stumble over my words this time and pretend that I actually know how to read. Let's see. Haley fell backward on Christine's shiny purple comforter and stared at the newest poster. Are these boys even teenagers? Does it matter? They have voices of gods and money to match, just like your Chris. You've got to be kidding. He doesn't have the voice of a god. Christine nudged Haley's ribs, earning a rare giggle. I bet he'd be willing to serenade you. Please, he just likes to give me shit. Christine lit up another joint, then offered it to Haley. You ever going to learn? Are you? They fell silent, staring at the ceiling and occasionally frowning at nothing, both drowning in their misery. They spent so many nights like this, alone and silent yet comfortable, both carrying a weight many adults couldn't possibly shoulder. Christine's house provided safety that allowed Haley to let her guard down, so she closed her eyes. Either your phone is buzzing or you've got something in your pants you haven't told your best friend about. I know it's been ages since you and Niles, shut up. Shaking her head, Haley pulled the cell from her back pocket and read the message from Joss. Dad's looking for you. You're late again. Christine, I swear your pot is going to get me killed. It's 12:30. Haley made it across the street in record time, palms sweating, and found Dad waiting just inside the door, open bottle of beer in his death grip. Not an ounce of respect in that body of yours, not 1 ounce of it. Dad paced his favorite spot on the worn hardwood, stopping only to take a swig, sweat forming a ring around the collar of his grimy T-shirt and rolling down his temples. How could they yell at me? My wife used to run the place. Run it. And you, Dad said, nailing Haley to the wall with his glare. You treat me the same way. He pitched the bottle at Haley, but she darted to the side and it hit the front door instead, glass shattering everywhere. That wouldn't do. Not tonight. She saw truth in the ferocious gleam in his eyes, in that all-too-familiar sneer curling his upper lip. Tonight, he'd hit her. Don't you roll your eyes at me, young lady. Dad slapped her before she could say another word, before she could beg or plead or stand up and demand he rewind time and look again. She did not roll her eyes. He grabbed his hips, shoulders squared, then looked smugly down at her as she cowered by the door, palm cupped over her cheekbone. Clean it up, now. Why don't you clean it up? Just once. Maybe he could leave a bruise for Joss to see. Just once. Maybe he'd mess up so that Haley didn't have to scream it to the world, ruin her family. Maybe this could be someone else's burden. Dad raised his hand again, ready, grinding his teeth, and Haley took a deep breath and dropped to her knees to sweep up the glass. Jocelyn was the only reason Haley would allow Dad to do this. Sorry, I'm sorry, I'll do it. She sucked up her weakness, tossed the glass in the trash, then headed to bed, launching herself on the mattress and digging under the covers. I need help, Mom. So that is kind of an intro into her relationship with her best friend. Her best friend is obviously a pot smoker. She's got some issues of her own. But they are very comfortable together, her and Christine, because they can kind of drown in their misery together. And it also shows, her interaction with her father, which is not, she does not live in a good home environment, and she really needs to get out of it, but she's a victim of abuse, and she kind of takes it because she thinks she has to, and there's no other way out. She thinks she's honoring her family by kind of being strong. She's honoring her mother in a way, her dead mother. So it's a sad interaction, but it's a really good insight into Haley's home life. You're muted again.
Yeah, because of all the noise. Until I get a headset back, because right now, like, even if somebody would just blow a horn, it would pick it up, unfortunately. My books all shoved up against the speakers apparently are not shoved close enough to mute it. Okay, so the next question is, what has been your best fangirl moment as an author, and what about as a fangirl yourself? Mine was finally getting to meet you after, 4 years?
I know, that was so awesome. That was so awesome meeting. And then you didn't recognize me, which was like, so see how great I am. But you know what? While I was in Florida on that little tour, the kids at the high school, they didn't recognize me either because my author photo was so different from what I look like now, and which is why I went out and got new author photos done. But so one of my favorite experiences, I guess, as a fangirl, I'm trying to think. I see it's really hard to get me to fangirl over anything because people are just people, no matter what they write or what they do. To me, everyone's kind of the same. But who was it? I don't know. I don't have a favorite fangirl moment. I just have moments like meeting you. That was awesome. And meeting kids. I actually have more fun meeting readers than I think I do meeting other authors, if that makes sense. Like, I love interacting with kids who love to read, or teenagers, or even adults, just sitting there and talking books. And when people come up to me and they're like, I read your book, I loved it, that is so amazing to me that somebody could read my book and love it and want to talk to me about it. So to me, that's more of a fangirl moment than meeting another author or something like that.
Well, I found an old copy of Wildfire. I don't know where it came from because I found a big old tote of books, so I gave it to the school.
Oh, that's awesome. Which school?
What is it? It's the high school that's over here. For the life of me, I don't remember what it's called.
That's okay.
I think it's Regions. I don't have any kids that go to the high school, so...
Yeah, my son
like
is in school in a couple weeks, and I'm so scared and nervous, and I can't believe I'm old enough to have a kid going to high school.
You're old. Deal with it.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're not that much older than me.
Keep rubbing it in.
What? You're like, what, a year older than me?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so you're not, that makes me old, too. I feel very old today. The next question is, what is your favorite TV show?
Right now? Okay, so I don't watch a lot of TV, but I can kind of rattle off the shows that I do watch. I watch The Vampire Diaries when it's on. I watch um, True Blood, which is, I watch True Blood, but I only watch it because I love the books up until book 10. I loved the books so much, and so I watched the show hoping that it would be somewhat similar to the books, even though it never was. And now I think I'm just watching it because it's a train wreck. Um, and I just watched Outlander, like the first episode of Outlander, and I really, really
I love Outlander.
Did you read the books? Oh, those are really big books. I have not read the books, and I think I'm going to have to.
I just grabbed these from the used bookstore because I have like over $200 worth of credit at one, and this is all they had, but they're really big.
They are really good.
I was trying to find out if it would be on iTunes because I am poor and I don't want to pay $20 to watch Stars to just watch that.
Yeah, it's really good. The show was cool. Like, but I only have one issue with it, and I don't know if like me talking about my one issue with the show will ruin it for anybody who hasn't seen it. But she's like supposedly super in love with her husband. Like they are like this awesome couple, and even after they were separated for 5 years because of the war, they come back and they just pick right back up where they left off, and they're madly in love, and everything's perfect and hunky-dory and blah, 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 blah. And then she's transported back in time, and she's going to meet another guy and then fall in love with him, and it really boggles my mind how that could happen because she's so happy. Wouldn't she want to get back? So that's my only kind of issue with the show.
Well, I mean, if you really think about it, I mean, if you think about it on the fact that after she's there for some time, if they don't rush it,
right,
there for a while,
yeah,
how long are you gonna be in love with your husband that's back in, you know, the present, and you're not there, and be, you know, just start creating a new life because you're there and you're stuck there and you're never going back, you know?
Right. So, I mean, that's my only issue. So as long as they don't rush, like you said, they don't rush into it. As long as she has a period, like a huge period of mourning for the life that she lost, I think it'll be okay.
There you go. Because, yeah, that wouldn't make much sense.
Yeah. But, I mean, honestly, like the first episode, they met and there was like this instant kind of connection between the two of them. And so I was like, oh no. But she loves her husband. She loves him. So,
well, here you go. This question kind of works for that one anyway. If you could travel to any time, past or present, where would you go and why?
okay, so I always tell people I don't like history. And I don't like history because, whatever, it's history. So I think I would go in the future, maybe 200 years or so, and I would pray along my travels that history hadn't, or society hadn't crumbled the way that it had in. Did you ever see the movie Idiocracy? Okay. Well, so the two dumbest people from modern times are like cryogenically frozen or whatever for something like 200 or 400 years, and then the world forgets about them and they wake up in the future and they're the two smartest people in the world. People are watering the White House lawn and crops and stuff with Gatorade. So that would be my only fear about traveling into the future, that people would be really, really dumb. Because technology has given us the ability to become, you know, kind of complacent and lazy and dumb. It's great, but yeah. But I would go to the future for sure. And I would hope that flying cars would be invented by then. Or cars that drive themselves. So people can just sit around and play cards or go to sleep while their car is driving them to wherever they have to go.
That would be nice. I could sit there and read and wouldn't have to drive anymore.
Yeah, that would be awesome. That would be awesome.
Okay. The next question is, how much of your personal life do you draw on for your work?
A lot of it. Every book has a little piece of me or my life, or whether it be past, present, or what I see of the future. For Wildfire, I think that Kate's story was she was kind of like everything I wished I had been or could have been. Um, because I was not a naive girl. I was very world smart and world broken down, and so she was kind of everything I wished I could have been, but she was. She was the opposite of me. Um, for Shattered Secrets, I built the main character, Abigail Nichols, off my daughter, Abigail Nicole. They start out in Fredericksburg, Virginia. They live in this house. So it's her story, it's her book. And so I drew upon, like, my daughter and her smarts. And, I mean, she's a very intelligent young woman. And so I kind of built her into the story. But for Charming, I wouldn't say that my dad abused me or my mom died in a car wreck, because that's not true. But I drew on a lot of pain that I experienced in my teenage years, which were very dark teenage years. And if I ever wrote about a book about my life, you might not believe it. But I drew upon that to put into Haley's character and to put into her friend Christine. Things that really happened to me or people around me, I put into the story. So I drew upon a lot of real life experiences for Charming. My real life experiences.
Let's see. How did you come up with the title for your books?
For all of them? Well, so Charming was kind of hard. Because I really wanted to call it Charming in Blood, but I didn't. I just stuck with Charming. But, since it was a Cinderella retelling, even though it was the original Cinderella retelling, I mean, Grimm's version didn't have a Charming in it. The Disney version did, but I just kind of put that in and it worked and I thought it was ironic to have Charming on the cover of where a girl is tied to a chair. Like, I just thought that was really super ironic. And then for Shattered Secrets, I mean, if you've read the book, then you would know that everyone has secrets in that book. I mean, everyone. And Abby has to kind of break through all those secrets and find out that she has to believe in herself. So to me, the title just kind of popped into my head one day. And Wildfire, I originally called it Darkness Falls. It was my original title for it. And it just didn't have a punch. It didn't feel like a good book title. And I had read an article once that you should pick out things that are really important in the story. So somebody said, like, what's the most important thing in your story? And I was a fire. And then I thought, well, I could call it Wildfire because it's a play on words. So, it's a wildfire. And that's kind of where I've come up with them.
Let's see. What one piece of advice would you give new or aspiring authors?
Just keep writing. I mean, that's the most important thing, is to always, always write. And don't write for anyone else. Write for yourself. And so when you're writing, don't think, oh, is somebody going to like this? Are they going to hate this? Are they going to want to read it? It doesn't really matter, because when you're writing, you just need to write and finish the book and make yourself happy. And just make it the best book that you can make it. But it takes writing to do that. So just write all the time.
We already did that one. Like, they're coming up now, but then it emails it to me, so they're everywhere. Who was your favorite serial killer you studied? Who was your favorite?
You want me to remember his name? Hold on a second. I've got my research folder right here. I'll tell you his name. Hold on.
And I'll go over here for a second. Those of you who don't know, here are her other books. I will toss this camera back to me. Here's her other books. There's Shattered Secrets, and these are the older covers. They've been updated. But there is the Darkness Falls series, and this is amazing. This is the first series I ever read from her, and I was addicted to it. And I think I hounded her forever until I got the next book in this series.
You did. So this is my Charming research folder. So all the stuff I printed out and kept for Charming. So, I mean, there was a ton of research. Give me a minute, and I will find the serial killer's name. Hopefully that doesn't give anything away. Let's see.
Is it that close to the killer in the book, though?
No, it's not that close. I was only kidding. I've got it in here somewhere.
No spoilers.
Oh my gosh. I've forgotten how much I've researched on this book. I mean, I have a printout on a cerebral contusion. It's just crazy. Almost there. I also have a printout on Saw, the Jigsaw Killer.
Oh, Saw the movie was interesting, the first one, because they filmed that in 15 days from start to finish. Yeah, yeah. I was like, that is, I mean, it's not my kind of movie, even though I did watch that one, but I was like, that's just kind of amazing what they could do in that short amount of time. Then you've got these other movies that they've been working on them for like 6 years, and they're crap.
Okay. So this guy is not at all close to my serial killer in the book, but this guy was actually, he was less serial killer, more like one-time crazy horrible killer. His name was Walter Seifert. It's Seifert. He hates doctors, but he kills children. And it's if you look him up, it's just really creepy. It's really disturbing. And then this kid, his name is Houston. I'm not sure what his last name is because it doesn't really say in the article, but the title of the article is Schizophrenic Killer, My Cousin. And the kid's name was Houston. And I kind of used Walter Seifert and this Houston kid to build my killer because they were really ridiculously crazy. Okay. Any other questions?
People need if you need the link to the giveaway, you can find it on the YouTube event page, as well as the Google Plus one. I just added it, and I will also add it over here if the little pop-up decides to come up to the showcase as well. I'm not sure where that pops up at, but it pops up somewhere. It was something new that Google Plus started. Okay, show item. Okay, so that should work in theory. If you can't find it in one of those two places, go to crossroadreviews.com, and it's the second post on there today, so you can find it. Okay, how do I get back to Q&A? Okay, there we go. That was easy. Okay, let's do one more question, then how many more readings do you have?
I have 2 more little small sections of reading.
Okay, so what are you reading now?
I am reading The Monstrumologist by, what's his name, Rick Yancey.
Oh, okay.
It's weird. Weird.
He wrote The Fifth Wave, didn't he?
Yeah, The Fifth Wave. I haven't read that yet, but somebody told me The Monstrumologist is really scary. So far, I'm not scared, and it's kind of depressing me. But we'll see. Hopefully I get scared.
I'm reading this.
Winter Kill. That's creepy.
I love the cover. It's so pretty. Okay, so next reading. What are we reading? Or what are you reading?
Nope, just answered that one.
Look.
oh,
So from your book.
my reading.
It's like, okay, your turn to read.
It's my turn to read. Sorry. I've been out in the sun all day. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Let me figure out where I was going to start from. Why the hell are you always so nice to me when you do god-awful things to other people? Why on earth would you want to spend time around me when I'm nothing? Is it just so you can remind me of everything I lost, everything I'll never have? That's not. Haley, wait. Chris stopped the car and jumped out, running, as usual, to catch up. But once again, Haley ran faster. Haley ran all the way to Mom's grave, crying, and didn't look back. Please come back to me, as a whisper in my thoughts. What I wouldn't do to hear your voice, to hear you tell me you'll fix this, that everything always works out the way it's supposed to. Snot drained, and Haley refused to wipe it away. She refused to stop bawling. Am I supposed to be miserable? Did I do something in another life that made me deserve this? To be treated like I don't exist? To have people want to be near me only to be mean? Haley lay on his side and curled into a ball. What I wouldn't do for a miracle, for Jocelyn to love me, for Daddy to enter rehab, for you to walk in the door after a long day at work and still take time to help with my schoolwork. She sat there, twirling a blade of brown grass between her fingers, shivering, the smell of dirt and dying flowers invading her senses. You cold, baby girl? Daddy asked, removing his black suit jacket. Haley nodded, rubbing her hands up and down her bare arms. The dress Mom picked out was a gorgeous shade of pale blue, the same color as Haley's eyes, and flowed out beautifully from her straight hips, settling just below her knees, but the thing left her chest and arms and calves exposed to the elements. The first snow fell, small flakes floating lazily toward the ground, making the fall father-daughter dance feel more like a winter formal. Here, he said, laying the jacket over her shoulders. It smelled of Old Spice, strong hints of cinnamon and cedar, and warmed her instantly. Thanks, Daddy. He took Haley's hand, squeezed. So your mother says we don't have to be home until midnight. Daddy checked his shiny watch Mom bought him for his birthday, which gives us 15 minutes. What do you say to a little trouble tonight? Trouble? Haley didn't want to be in trouble, not at all. I don't want to make Mom mad. Daddy smiled all the way to his eyes, then leaned down and kissed her cheek. I don't think Mom will be all that upset. Come on, let's go get some late-night pie. Haley? Haley woke up in tears, missing that dream man, that man who seemed to have resurfaced for Jocelyn, at least for the time being, and glanced up into the very concerned gray eyes of Todd. And I won't read further from that one. So that was just kind of an insight into how Haley's home life used to be before Mom died and before Dad turned to alcohol. So he used to be a good, loving father. And it's pretty unfortunate that she falls asleep at a cemetery talking to her dead mother, because that's the only person she feels connected to in the world is her mom.
Okay, you write in more than one genre. Which is your favorite?
Scary is my favorite. It doesn't matter the genre as long as it's got something creepy in it. I am enjoying the thrillers right now because they're just so, I love the pace of them, and I love the creepy real life scariness of it, whereas, a lot of the fantasies are like, okay, that's scary, but it can't really happen. I like the fact that this could really happen.
It's very realistic.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a soundtrack for Charming? What song best fits the book and why?
Oh my gosh, there's not a single song that best fits it. I actually have a Pandora station dedicated to Charming. I listened to a ton of Lana Del Rey while writing it. I listened to The Neighborhood. Tova Storka, I think that's how you pronounce her name. She's Sweden or something like that. She's a Swedish artist, and I listened to a lot of that kind of music. Black Mill, which is more of electronica music. I have a good playlist that I posted somewhere. I will have to try to find it. But honestly, The Neighborhood and Lana Del Rey, anytime I hear those two playing on the radio or on my Pandora, I immediately think, ooh, I need to write another Charming book. Because they just suit that world so well.
Let's see. When and why did you begin to write?
Well, I started writing in third grade. I had a horrible nightmare about a clown and decided to put it on paper. And then I ended up taking it to school and reading it in front of my entire class because my teacher loved it. And I read it in front of the entire class. And that's when I learned that I liked sharing what I write with people. But I didn't really take myself seriously as a writer until 2011. And I think it was because Kate's story came to me and I couldn't shut her up. Like, I just kept seeing the same image of a girl in a forest reaching out her finger to touch something shimmering. And I was like, I have to write a book about that. Like, I'm never going to get rid of this feeling if I don't write a book about it. And so it wasn't until 2011 that I really got serious about writing. And obviously the why is because I had a nightmare.
Okay. Let's see. That one you've already done. What's a typical working day like for you? Where do you write, and do you set a daily writing goal?
I don't have a daily writing goal other than to just write daily. A typical day for me is a very long day because I have a full-time job. I work 50 miles from home. I have 3 kids. So I usually, get up 5:30 in the morning, go to work. At my breaks and my lunch at work, I write. I open up my books and I immediately start writing. And then I pack up shop at 4 o'clock, drive home, take care of the kids, get food. By 7:30, 8 o'clock, I'm usually sitting down to write again or go through social media or edit or do something like that. And then I stay up till maybe 11 and then I fall asleep because I have to get up at 5:30 again in the morning. I know. Feel sorry for me.
What is the hardest part of writing for you?
The hardest part. I don't know. I think confidence is finding the confidence to believe that I can do it. I think a lot of writers struggle with that. So sometimes if I feel like I'm blocked, I can't come up with an idea or it doesn't make sense or I'm reading through a chapter that I've already written and I'm like, I don't like this, it's usually because I'm not confident in myself. Like I'm afraid that it's when I start thinking, well, what are other people going to think about this rather than what I think of it myself. So it's not really a part of the process per se, but sometimes I think the hardest thing is just finding confidence. And it roadblocks me at every different stage of the writing process.
Is there a message in any of your novels that you want readers to grasp?
Absolutely. In Wildspire, the message is to be your own light. Go out into the world and fight the demons of the world. You don't have to let somebody else fight for you, and you don't have to be afraid. You just go out and you do it. And that is probably a product of my own life because, like I said, I had a very dark childhood, and I overcame many of my own demons on my own. I made a decision one day to get up and fight it, and I fought. And that's kind of the message, that you can make it. You can get through anything if you just do it. With Shattered Secrets, it's trusting in yourself. Stop relying on other people so much. You can rely on people, but don't rely on them for everything. You kind of have to make your own decisions and come to your own conclusions about what's going on in life. With Charming, it's don't lay down and take abuse, no matter what. Don't wait until it's too late and someone's trying to kill you before you overcome your issues at home. Do not take abuse.
What is the best thing about being an author?
When people say I loved your book, because it's just, I don't know, it's something so rewarding about someone liking your book the same way that you do. Um, it's it's just it's amazing because you're like, you liked my book, like you liked something that I wrote. That's awesome, and that it's so incredible to be able to share that and for other people to get your message and to like it.
And then the last question is, what is your favorite part of marketing a book, and what is your least favorite part?
That was my favorite part of marketing a book. There isn't a favorite part of marketing a book. Actually, live events. So I guess if there was any one marketing thing that I enjoy doing, it's meeting people in real life or, via video and just talking to them about books in general. I think the best marketing that you can do for yourself is getting to like book festivals and bookstore signings and stuff like that, but just getting out there and meeting people and getting them to know you. I think that's the only thing I really like about marketing is just getting people to know who I am by meeting them in person and interacting with them.
What
And
about sending me your new books?
what?
I said, what about sending me your new books, and then sitting there wondering, is Jessica gonna like it?
Well, I mean that's a different kind of marketing though. I mean, marketing, like I don't think of like sending books out as marketing so much. Maybe it is. I don't know. I think that my favorite part is just meeting people and at events and talking to them, especially kids. Was there like a least favorite part in there? Was that part of the question?
Yeah.
My least favorite part of marketing is never knowing what's going to work because you just don't. I've marketed Charming really hard, and I don't even know if people notice. I don't know. But you try everything, and that's kind of just facing the unknown is what I don't like because I'm a planner. I am like I'm kind of OCD about planning, and so not knowing if it's going to work or not just drives me nuts.
Let's see. Don't see any more questions on there.
Okay, I have one more little segment to read.
Woohoo!
So I could read that real quick if you want me to.
Oh yeah,
Okay,
those.
let me see where I was going to start first.
Ooh, it's the good one.
Yeah, it's part of the book that you really liked. Um, You ready to go kick some old people ass? Chris offered his arm and leaned so close she smelled nothing but his cologne. And you asked me why. I'm sorry, she asked, linking her arm through his. You sorry you asked me why, or did you not hear me? Haley sighed. I'm not positive what you're referring to. Oh. He pointed to the coffee table his parents were sitting around, bowl of popcorn in the center, a few cans of soda, and glasses of ice. I mean, you asked me why I'm so nice to you. You thought it's because I wanted to hurt you, but I'm nice to you, Haley, because I like you. So dangerous. Chris Charming was so dangerous. The way he looked at her, looked into her, as though he saw her pain, her panic attacks, as if he knew every deep, dark secret and didn't care. Definitely dangerous. And she liked him too. She knew she should run, but her legs refused. Her heart screamed at her to stay put. So she did, and they played Scrabble, and Chris beat her terribly. Important question, Mr. Charming said, staring into the empty bowl of popcorn with a cocked brown eyebrow. Mr. Charming leaned forward on his elbows. Oh, I said Mr. Charming. That was Mrs. Charming. Anyway, sorry. Whatever. I'm going to keep going. Go on. Marshmallows or Clue? Haley, Chris, and Mr. Charming all shouted marshmallows at the same time. Clue it is! Mrs. Charming pulled the game from the entertainment center along the far wall, earning 3 very tired groans. Oh, fine. Marshmallows. Let's go outside. Anytime you want to ditch my rents, just let me know, Chris whispered, turning Haley back as they followed his mom and dad toward the back deck. Are you kidding? Haley longed for more interaction with them, for a lifetime of it. I'm adopting them. He caught her gaze, held it, long and hard and knowing. Danger, danger, danger! Why would you need to? You kids coming? Mrs. Charming asked, poking her head around the door. Be right there, Mom. Chris knocked. Chris knocked Haley's chin, just a light tap of his knuckles, a gentle, sweet, friendly gesture. one that made her cower away from him. Don't answer. Not if you don't want to. It's none of my business. The Charmings roasted marshmallows with Haley, then watched movies in their home theater. They were nice, relaxing, happy things that good families do, that loving families do, that families not like Haley's do. Somehow, she and Chris made it back up to his room, tucked themselves into his little nook, each under a blanket, laughing at something stupid he said. I've got an idea. Kicking off his shoes, Chris stretched his long legs and cracked his fingers. How about we play a game of truth or dare without the dare? So that's the end of that segment. Yeah.
Anything else that you would like to tell your readers?
I love you. No, I don't know. Just I thank you for supporting and following me around and watching all my videos and coming to events. It's awesome. And I hope that you like Charming when it comes out, and you can pre-order it. I'll remind you that you can pre-order it on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. And Jessica, I think we'll give you the link.
Yes, I did. I posted it on there.
Did anybody have more questions?
Doesn't look like it.
Crickets!
Oh, everybody's questioned out, apparently. Well, again, for today's show, you get to win this ARC and one of 2 keychains that you have on your end.
I do. Hold on. Let me lift it up. Keychains. With a knife and a book cover.
Those are so cool looking.
They are really cool.
And the giveaway is going to be going for, I think I put 2 weeks on it just because you're awesome. And I might be able to find some more stuff. I did, because you had bookmarks before, right? When I picked these up, or no, you didn't?
I do have bookmarks. I still have bookmarks.
I will find more stuff to add to the giveaway. All right. Thank you so much for coming back on. Don't forget about the show when your next book comes out, of course.
I won't. I don't think you'll let me forget about your show either.
Definitely not. It's like all my new friends. It's like now I get to book spam you. Okay. Thanks again for coming on.
Thank you.
Oh, and you'll be back. That's right. You'll be back, won't you?
Yes, I think we have another interview.
Yes. Yes, she will be back. Krystal Wade will be back, so if she didn't happen to answer your question today, oh my goodness, I'm going to choke on air. She will be back September 27th with Cameo, Renee, Mary Ting, and Robinson Wells.
Yay!
You guys get to outnumber Robinson. Girls rule. All right, thank you so much for coming back on.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay. Next week, thank you everybody for watching the show. Next week, for Saturday, we will be having Mindy McGinnis, Ronley Bernard, and Christy Cook of Not a Drop to Drink, Find Me, as well as Magnolia. So we have tons of books to give away for all of those, as well as I think I have some swag, as well as ARCs for book 2 of Find Me, Remember Me, which they're not near me, so I can't show them to you. But definitely come back, and you can check out all the links on facebook.com/crosswordreview/events. And I will catch you guys later. And if you feel so inclined to stick around, you can check out my book babble at 6 p.m. EST today, where I will show you everything that's laying across my desk of things that I've gotten in the mail and purchased, as well as today's topic is respecting the ARC. So I hope to see you then. Bye.